United States and Israel. The left no longer has any ideas, only slogans. It no longer defends rights by prejudices. And the greatest prejudice of all is the one it has against Israel. I accuse them in a formal manner. The main responsibility of the new anti-Semite hatred, disguised as anti-Zionism, comes from those who should have to defend freedom, solidarity and progress. Far from it, they defend despots, forget their victims and remain silent before medieval ideologies which aim the destruction of free societies. The treason of the left is an authentic treason against modernity. The fate of journalism, I am journalist. We have a more informed well than ever before, but we don't have a better informed well. Quite the contrary, the information superhighway connects us with anywhere in the planet, but it does not connect us with the truth. Today, journalists don't need maps, since they have Google Earth. They don't need to know history, since they have Wikipedia. The historical journalists who knew the roots of a conflict still exist, but they are an endangered species, devoured by the hamburger journalism, which offers fast food news to readers who want fast food information. Israel is the world's most watched place, but despite that, is the world's least understood place. Of course, one must keep in mind the pressure of the great petrodollar lobbies, whose influence upon journalism is subtle but deep. And mass media knows that if it speaks against Israel, it will have no problems. Contrary. But what would happen if it criticized an Islamic country? Without doubt, it would complicate its existence. Certainly, part of the press that writes against Israel would see themselves mirrored in Mark Twain's ironical sentence: "Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please." The feat of critical thinking. To all this, one must add the ethical relativism which defines the present times. It is based not on denying the values of civilization, but rather in their most extreme banalization. What is modernity? Personally, I explain it with this little tale. If I were to be lost in an uncharted island, I would want to found a democratic society. I would only need 3 written documents. The 10 Commandments, which establish the first code of modernity, the Roman Penal Code, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And with these 3 texts, we would start again. These principles are relativized daily, even by those who claim to be defending them. Thou shalt not murder, depending who is the target, must think those who, like the demonstrators in Europe, shouted in favor of Hamas. Hooray for freedom of speech, or not? For example, several Spanish left-wing organizations tried to take me to court, accusing me of being a negationist, like a Nazi, because I deny the Palestinian Holocaust. They were pretending to prohibit me from writing articles and to send me to prison, and so on. The social critical mass has lost weight, and at the same time, ideological dogmatism has gained weight. In this double turn of events, the strong values of modernity have been substituted by a weak thinking, vulnerable to manipulation and Manichaeism. The feet of the United Nations. I love that. I with it a sound defeat of the international organization which should look after human rights. Instead, they have become broken puppets in the hands of despots. The United Nations is only useful to that Islamofascist like Ahmadinejad or dangerous demagogues like Hugo Chavez have a planetary loudspeaker where they can speak their hatred. And of course, to systematically attack Israel. The United Nations to live better against Israel. Finally, the defeat of Islam. The Islam of tolerance and culture suffers today the violent attack of a totalitarian virus which tries to stop its ethical development. This virus uses the name of God to perpetrate the most terrible horrors, lapidate women, enslave them, use youth as human bombs. Let's not forget, they kill us with cellular phones connected to the Middle Ages. And it also has an anti-Semite DNA. Perhaps Islamic anti-Semitism is the most serious, intolerant phenomenon of our times. Indeed, it contaminates more than 1,400 million people who are educated massively in hatred towards the Jew. In the crossroads of these defeats is Israel, orphan of a reasonable left, orphan of serious journalism, orphan of a decent United Nations, an orphan of a tolerant Islam. Israel suffers the paradigm of the 21st century, the lack of a solid commitment with the values of liberty. Nothing seems strange. Jewish culture represents, as no other does, the metaphor of a concept of civilization, which suffers today attacks on all flanks. You are the thermometer of the world's health. Wherever the world has had totalitarian fever, you have suffered. In the Spanish Middle Ages, in Christian persecutions, in Russian pogroms, in European fascism, in Islamic fundamentalism. Always, first enemy of totalitarianism has been the Jew. And in these times of energy dependency and social uncertainty, Israel embodies in its own flesh the eternal Jew. A pariah nation among nations, for a pariah people among peoples. That is why the anti-Semitism of the 21st century has dressed itself with the efficient disguise of anti-Israelism, or its synonym, anti-Zionism. All criticism against Israel is anti-Semitism? No. But all present-day anti-Semitism has turned into prejudice and the demonization of the Jewish state. New cloth for an old hatred. Benjamin Franklin said, where liberty is, there is where liberty is, there is my country. And Albert Einstein added, the world is a dangerous place, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. This is the double commitment, here and now. Never remain inactive in front of evil in action and defend the countries of liberty. Thank you.